All right, listen up. We're skipping the intros and the fluff today. You're here for your Module 7 B1 test prep, and this explainer is going to focus on the absolute non-negotiables. We're specifically hitting questions 26, 71, 79, 96, 108, 109, 111, 124, 166, 198, 230, 235, 361, 100, 194, 212, 227, 228, 262, and 278. But more importantly, you're here to learn how to survive on my hangar floor. I'm going to tell you exactly why these rules exist in the real world. So grab your notebook, keep your head on a swivel, and let's get right into it. Section 1, Electrical Hazards and Procedures. Let's look at the protocols that'll keep you from getting fried. I want you to picture a real-world scenario here. You're walking past a bay and you see a buddy locked up on a live circuit. Their muscles are totally seized up and they can't let go. Question 96 asks for your immediate reaction. What is your absolute first move? You immediately switch off the electrical current. Now, the absolute most crucial thing to remember here, and the technical reasoning behind it, is what you don't do. You do not grab them. If you touch a person who is actively taking a shock, you instantly become part of that electrical circuit. Then, instead of one casualty, I'm filling out paperwork for 2. You kill the power source first. Always. So how do we prevent that in the first place? Take a look at questions 235 and 216. First, you connect a grounding cable to eliminate electrical charges. Grounding bleeds off that static so we don't accidentally spark and blow up fuel vapors. Second, if you're pulling or installing avionics, you trip and tag the applicable circuit breakers. Tripping the breaker stops the juice. Tagging it ensures some other mechanic doesn't just walk by and blindly flip the power back on while your hands are deep in the wiring. Section 2, Fire Safety and Extinguishers. Because when things go wrong in aviation, they go wrong incredibly fast. According to question 262, there are 3 conditions that literally have to be met for a fire to happen: fuel, oxygen, and heat. We call this the fire triangle. If you memorize this, you can fight any fire on the floor. Why? Because if you eliminate just one of those 3 elements, say smother the oxygen, or pull away the fuel, or cool down the heat, that fire dies instantly. Let's rapid fire through questions 212, 278, and 194. I need to drill this into your head right now. Burning solids, like wood or paper, you use water to cool the heat. Simple. But what if you have combustible liquids like jet fuel or oil? If you throw water on a fuel fire, you are just going to spread flaming jet fuel all across the hangar. For liquids, you use carbon dioxide to smother the oxygen. And if you see a Class C rating, that specifically means flammable gases. You absolutely must match your weapon to the enemy. Section 3, Hazardous Materials and Toxins. These are the invisible dangers that will slowly take you apart from the inside if you don't give them the respect they deserve. Let's distinguish between questions 108 and 111 because you really need to understand exactly what kind of irreversible biological damage we're dealing with. A carcinogen is an agent that can cause cancer. A teratogen, that's a substance that results in birth defects and malformations to a fetus. Listen, we aren't just wearing gloves to keep our hands pretty. We're wearing PPE because these specific chemical classes severely alter human biology. Question 198 covers LD50, and man, this is a harsh reality of our industry. This isn't just some dry textbook definition. LD50 is the dose of a substance expected to cause the death of 50% of an experimental population. It is the literal, calculated lethal dosage threshold. When a bottle says it has a low LD50, it means it doesn't take much to put you in the ground. Because of how dangerous this stuff is, we've got really strict storage logic, and that's covered in questions 71 and 79. You can store your lubricants and greases together indoors. They're relatively benign. But flammable materials, those must be stored outdoors. Think about it. If the hangar catches fire, we don't want drums of flammables cooking off inside and turning the whole building into a giant bomb. We isolate the major risks. As an apprentice, I want to empower you here. Question 109 clearly states, your employer absolutely must provide copies of the relevant material safety data sheets, the MSDS, for all chemicals. Demand them. Read them. Furthermore, question 230 warns that a filtering respirator is incredibly dangerous in an oxygen-deficient atmosphere, meaning anything less than 19.5%. A filter mask catches particles. It doesn't manufacture oxygen. If there's no air in the tank, a paper mask isn't going to save you from suffocating. All right, time for a senior mechanic's golden rule. You'll find this in question 124 regarding the gas laws. When you are transferring or decanting high-pressure gases from a storage bottle to an aircraft component, you have got to do it slowly. If you crank open that valve and rapid transfer the gas, that severe compression generates massive heat. The temperature of the receiving component will spike dramatically, and it can literally rupture or blow up right in your face. Slow and steady keeps you intact. Section 4. General Shop Safety and Emergencies. Let's do a final sweep of the general hangar floor protocols.
Always look up at the walls when you're on the floor. Question 166 asks what a triangular danger sign means. Look, shapes communicate universally across every single hangar in the world. A yellow triangle is a warning sign. It is absolutely not a suggestion. It means a hazard is present right there, and it requires your immediate situational awareness.
Let's drill an emergency response sequence real quick. Question 227 asks for your very first action if corrosive substances hit your eyes. The answer, combined with the logic of question 100, is you go immediately to the eye wash station and flush your eyes. You do not call an ambulance first. You do not cover your face. Eye wash stations exist to provide on-the-spot decontamination, physically flushing away hazardous chemicals before they permanently burn your tissue. Seconds literally dictate whether you get to keep your vision. Now think about your own workstation. Question 361 highlights that FOD, foreign object damage, occurs when the work area is not clean. I really need to hammer this home for you. Missing a tool, dropping a rivet, or leaving a greasy rag inside an intake isn't just sloppy housekeeping. When that engine spools up, that single misplaced object will destroy a multi-million-dollar turbine engine and could easily pull an aircraft out of the sky. Keep your area immaculate. Which brings us to our final non-negotiable rule about hangar integrity and your personal responsibility as an aviation mechanic. Question 228 asks, what is your absolute obligation after an accident or an event? The answer is total 100% transparency. You must report all accidents or events. We do not hide mistakes in aviation. If you dent a panel, if you strip a thread, if you drop a tool and can't find it, you report it. An unreported mistake today is a catastrophic failure tomorrow at 30,000 feet. We report events because that is exactly how we fix our procedures, improve our manuals, and ultimately keep everyone alive. So absorb these rules, respect the hangar, and ask yourself right now, are your personal standards high enough to keep these planes flying safely? Think about that. Keep studying, and I'll see you out on the floor.